Hey, Shalom, Akim. Your brother Rattaz Allah from GMS London Camp. First and foremost, want to give praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone. Blessings and brakadam to the hopeful and sincere elect. Just want to do a quick upload in regard to the increase of interest rates as of late from the Federal Reserve, and in regard to the inflation and the inflated, exacerbated prices that's going to be taking place in the next coming months towards the end of the year. As it says in this article, it says Federal Reserve raises key interest rate another 0.75 percentage point and matches biggest increase since 1994, and push to tame soaring inflation, which is not going to tame it, it's just going to make it, adding more fuel to the fire basically. It says fourth increase of 2022 and more expected. Yeah, that's right. This is definitely going to be more expected because this kingdom is on its way out, man. As the scripture says in James, the 5th chapter, that these devils, these so-called wicked elite, the rich, they've heaped treasures for the last days, and their system is being systematically taken down and destroyed by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. No matter how much these devils, do the quantitative easing and print more money, which is really not money, this funny money that they call fractional reserve banking, as one of the terms they use, which is basically money made out of thin air that's backed by that has no intrinsic value, like gold and silver. It's falling apart from the hinges, man, and it's all cankered, as I'm going to read in a couple precepts. But this is beautiful because they're talking about the soaring prices and inflation due to this whole situation with Ukraine, and how that's going to be a more prices and everything's going to start going up even more, man, because of the strain that's going on over there between Russia and Ukraine, and how it's affecting the West, the stocks and prices, man. So this kingdom's on its way out, man. And the Fed, they're a private owned company by the the rich elite, the wicked elite on the left hand side, the banking elite, the Amalekites, the small hats. They run that whole banking system, man, and it's all backed by fraud. So the Lord is slowly but surely bringing these devils down, man. As it tells you in Numbers, the 24th chapter, that says Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end is that he should be destroyed, and that includes his financial system as well, because as I said, this whole beast system is run by the the small hats, man, or the wicked elite. They call themselves peons today now, Europeans. So the Federal Reserve on Wednesday increased its key overnight borrowing rate of 0.75 points. So the central bank has been pursuing rapid rate hikes of battle soaring inflation, which hit 9.1 in June. So the inflation, as people have been noticing, is skyrocketing, man. It's going up and down. It's like a damn, going up and down like a damn yo-yo, because the wicked elite are basically playing with the numbers, man. And the ones that get affected the most is who? The people. There was one article brother put up, and it said, during the whole scamdemic, the basically 3.9 or 3.7 billion dollars was lost in the system from people basically being unemployed and losing all kind of jobs, and cost of living and all that skyrocketing and stuff like that, people suffering and stuff like that during that whole scamdemic. And at the same time, the article said 3.7 billion was lost in the system, but then it said the rich, basically, which starts with the wicked elite banking families, brothers know the names, and they basically increased their wealth by 3.9 billion. So that shows you who's in control of this system, man. And it's all a cycle of debt. This debt bearing system is a weight bearing on the citizens' shoulders, man. And it's not really affecting the elite, because they don't pay tax, income tax and stuff like that. The rich, they don't deal with tax. Tax is dealt with. Income tax is dealt with who? The goyim, basically, the bottom feeders of society. They're the ones that keep this place afloat, while the rich live lavish, man. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer, as they say. So these devils are running a big psyop on the people, man, a big game on the people. and they're the ones gaining gaining the wealth, gaining the most wealth out of the whole situation, because it's their system, man. It's an Edomite banking system, so they made it to benefit them and to basically hurt others, which are the tribes, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. More importantly, because that's where they go into the term systematic oppression and all of that. So as I said, the richer get richer and the poorer get poorer, man. So it's all a ploy, it's all a con. The whole banking system is a big con. Yeah, but this is going to be a backdraft. At the end of the day, the law is going to make sure these devils get a taste of their own medicine, man. Because as I said, their gold and silver is cankered. Scripture said there's going to be no more work in Egypt. So these devils are basically fighting a lose-lose situation, man. Because they think they're going to do all this and get away with murder and then skate off into the sunset with the NWO agenda. But really, it's going to backfire on them, man. And it's going to backfire on 2/3 of the Jake that, believe in the society as well, that are settled on their lease. The Lord said, woe unto you that are settled on your lease, man. That trust in society. And it says also, victuals shall be sold good cheap, and they shall think themselves to be in good case. But, evils is going to multiply even more and more. And, the victuals being sold good cheap is the total opposite right now, because hyperinflation is happening. Let's look at the situation with Iraq. Iraq and the Saudi Arabians and all that stuff like that. They're seeing the brunt force of it, man. They're dealing with that hyperinflation and bankruptcy and stuff of that nature, man. And it's going to trickle down over to the West. The Lord's saving the best for last, man. So anyway, no harp for too long. I just want to read a couple of scriptures and close out. But you can see the down trickling effect, man. This society is done. The gold and silver is cankered, and this place is finito, man. And even on this month, I think on the 26th or 27th, they got big major meetings regarding this crypto society, man. They got big inflation meetings coming up in regards to the next basically the system getting ready to crash, and people trying to benefit from it with this cryptocurrency, CBDC, which they're basically trying to push everything to go digital now. So everything's just like a ploy, man, of the wicked elite, and those that are in the know, the insiders, they know what's going on behind the scenes, and they're basically benefiting off the downfall of other people's trauma, basically financial traumas, man, because they're insiders. So it's Ecclesiastes 12:1. It says 12 and 12:3 says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. And what the keepers of the house is trembling right now with these stock markets, man. The stock takers and traders, these financial forecasters, they see what's coming down the pike. They know that inflation is going to turn into hyperinflation, and the shit's going to get out of control to basically turn into an economic collapse. They see it's happening, man. They're the insiders. It says, in the day that when the keepers of the house shall tremble and the strong men shall bow themselves, it says, and the grinders cease because they are few. Yeah, the grind and the jobs are getting lost. Jobs are getting lost, lesser and less. People are getting more unemployed, but at the same time, the cost of living is going up. So, it's like mixing oil and water, man. Two opposites. Those two opposites ain't attracting, man. It's going to make shit worse and worse over time. And as I said, in the next coming months, expected after October, going into the the end of the financial year, the third quarter, if you will, there's going to be more inflation, going into hyperinflation, more soaring in cost of living prices and stuff like that, utility bills, everything's going to start going up even more and more, man. And at the same time, there's going to be less jobs, and so on and so forth. People are going to be more reliant on the government, with a universal credit, system and stuff like that. So it's chaos. It's utter chaos, man. It says, and the grinders cease because they are few. And it says, those that look out the windows be darkened. Yeah, so things are going to get dark on the financial scale, man, financial forecasting scale. Well, that's going to economic collapse. That's when the economic collapse comes in. When the bubbles burst, man. All these different bubbles that these devils set up, people got invested in, putting all their chips in, basically, He's gonna burst, man. You know, it's gonna crash. It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. It says, when the sound of the grounding is low. So yes, there's gonna be no more jobs. As Scripture says in Isaiah 90 chapter, there should be no more work for Egypt. It says, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. You didn't need us say anymore, man. You already know what the music industry just totally, down, out of sound, man, out of sync, man. You know, it's not even music anymore. It's just pots and pans, you know, with a bit of bass behind it. It's just totally, effed up music, basically. It's not real music, man. So, you know, music has definitely been brought low with all these modern day artists out here, or artists out here, man, just doing their garbage. This is Zephaniah 1:11. It says, how ye inhabitants of Maktesh. Yeah, that's the rich banking elite, man, that run the markets, man. You know, that run the markets. It says, how ye inhabitants of Maktesh. It says, for all ye merchant people are cut down. All the merchant people are cut down. All they that bear silver are cut off. So eventually this system's going to implode on itself, man. And this is what the wicked elite is working on. And they think they're going to do it to their benefit. But the Lord said that even in the last days, that the wicked are going to be in straits, man. So they think that this is going to be to their benefit, you know. Just like the different revolutionary wars, you had Napoleon with the Rothschilds and all of that. And how they made money, off the backs of that whole revolutionary war. You know. With stock markets and stuff like that, you know, they even made films and documentaries about it. But it's not going to go to their, it's not going to go all the way to their plan this time, man, because the Lord is that at the end of the day is controlling everything. He ruleth in the kingdom of men. He mustereth the host of the battle. So, you know, these devils are going to lose at the end of the day, and everything that they stole, they're going to vomit up as well. You know, and that's by the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because as I said, he ruleth in the kingdom of men. You know, the king's heart's in the hand of the Lord, man. So these devils are playing to the Lord's fiddle, man, to the Lord's tune, and not the other way around. So how ye inhabitants of Maktesh, so for all your merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. So this place is ready to implode, man. It's been ready to implode. You know, it's just it's a ticking time bomb. It says, and it shall come to pass that at that time, which we're in that time right now, it says that I will search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their lease. Yeah, so that's the 2/3 that want to stay here, you know, putting all their eggs in one basket, putting in their money into stocks and investments, thinking that this place is going to go on. And the Lord said the fashion of this place is going to be destroyed, man, by way of nuclear fire. Fashion of this place is going to pass away with that nuclear heat. So the Lord said, woe unto you that are settled on your leads, man. It says that say in their heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil. When this place is totally corrupt, the Lord's going to destroy it. So therefore their goods shall become a booty, and their houses a desolation. Yeah, all these hiking, skyrocketing stock prices and inflation and all that. You know, people ain't going to be able to survive, man. You know, people are going to be losing their mind to the point where they're going to be out in the streets, literally, you know, sedition amongst men, you know, going from house to house, just doing the most, man, turning into savages because for the lack of bread, namely, because the storehouse is going to be empty, you know, as you can plainly see, that's being orchestrated by the wicked left hand side of the Lord, you know, the wicked elite. They're orchestrating this famine, man, this famdemic that's happening right now. They're the ones stopping the cargoes from coming in, man, going in and coming out, the shipments and stuff like that. The situation that's happened over here in the UK for the past week with the Dover traffic and all that, and shipments not being able to come in and go out, that's been orchestrated by the wicked elite, man. They did that shit on purpose, man. You know, while they at the same time they're hoarding all the gold and silver and all the, you know, resources for themselves, for the time of martial law, for the hour of martial law, and for the time of the MOT to the beat, when they're going to be rationing food out here. It says, therefore their goods shall become a booty, and their houses a desolation. It says, they shall also build houses but not inhabit them. It says, and they shall plant vineyards but not drink of the wine thereof. Yeah, because they can't even be able to afford to maintain it, because the cost of living is going up. People, you know, are crying at the moment more than ever before, man. It's going to get worse. We're going into the winter. You know, Biden, you know, said last year it's going to be a dark winter. That could be this year. end of this year, man, with all these skyrocketing prices, inflation, people not being able to, you know, afford to pay for their gas and all that stuff like that, utility bills, you know, it's going to get dark for a lot of people, man. A lot of people are going to end up on, you know, being homeless, being evicted from their properties, man. And why has this all happened? Because as it says in verse 14, the great day of the Lord is near. Because the Lord is punishing this place, man. He's visiting the earth which he made. And he's visiting the wicked, which is so-called white people, these Edomites, to start off with, first and foremost. And then 2/3 of his own people, man, that want this place to go on. It says the great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Yeah, this is why this is all happening, man, because the Lord is bringing judgment. And his only begotten son, Yahushua, is getting ready to be sent back to return and deliver his elect and to destroy the wicked and set up his kingdom in righteousness, man, to restore the balance, man, you know. This is the great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. So this place is free, man. It says that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress. We're seeing it now, man. You're seeing the skirmishes, the uproars of the people, more uprisings, sedition. People are losing their minds, man. You know, things ain't as normal as it was a few years back, man, before the scamdemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it. People, you know, living day to day, not knowing what's going to happen now, man. People ain't trying to plan for the future like that as they used to, man. Because things are just going from bad to worse. And it's going to get worse than that. Because we're in a time of great judgment, you know. Says that day is, you know, with the Sri Lanka situation. I said there's Saudi Arabia, Slovakia, Sri Lanka. And just the other day, they was talking about Iraq. There was sedition in Iraq, you know. So this kingdom's done, man. Because the wicked is ruling, man. So the people are mourning. It says that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress. This is a day of wasteness and desolation. Oh, what's gonna waste and destroy and make it desolation? Those nuclear missiles, man. Which this is all leading up to the nuclear war. The situation with Russia, Ukraine, you know, the BRIC nations, NATO and the EU. It's all banding up to what? The day of the Lord, man. A day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, which is going to be that nuclear war, ultimately. Jacob's trouble leading into that nuclear war. A day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, man. What's going to cause that? Those nuclear missiles, man. They're going to block out the sun. And America's going to get totally engulfed in that smoke. That place is going to go up in smoke, man. You know, that's going to be the real up in smoke tour, as I used to say. No, and I ain't talking about no damn concert. That place is going to get lit on fire for real. You know, Jake, you want to talk about getting lit. You wait until the day of the Lord when those nuclear missiles are shot off, man. You know? That's when you're going to see America get lit for real. That place is going to be literally on fire, man. That lake of fire. That's coming, man. That great day, it hasteth greatly. It says it here. In the 14th verse, it says it is near. It hasteth greatly. It says fastly approaching, man. We're in that time. You know. So anyway, let me jump down to the verse 18. It says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. So you know, you putting all your eggs in one basket, thinking this place is gonna go on while inflation and all this stuff is going skyrocketing and stuff like that. Cost of living is going up, and that's not gonna help you in the day of the Lord, man. In the day of the Lord's wrath. You know, those riches are going to catch wings and fly away, as it tells you in the book of Proverbs, man. The riches ain't going to be able to deliver you, man. The silver and the gold, these wicked elites, none of that's going to be able to deliver you. Even Isaiah, the 40th chapter, tells you regarding the Medes, which is talking about the Russians, you know, Magog and all that, chief prince, you know, Ra'ash Shah, which is the chief prince, the head prince, talking about Russia today, of Meshach and Tubal. It said that they're not going to regard silver or gold, man, in the time of the day of the Lord, man, which is talking about the same situation here. In the day of the Lord, they're not going to regard silver or gold, man, you know, and the Russians are going to shoot their missiles in America. There ain't going to be no more trades and no more deals going on. The talking's going to come to an end, and they're going to be pushing nuclear buttons, man, literally. That's the time we're coming into, man. This is the end and be all of this society. It says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. For the whole land shall be devoured by fire, by the fire of his jealousy, by the fire of the Lord's jealousy, man. So the Lord's pissed with this American society. He wants this place done. He wants to burn this place, man. And it's going to be burnt. It says, by the fire of the Lord's jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So America's totally through. Anyone that's left on the shores of America when those nuclear missiles get shot off, they're through, man. Whether from China or wherever, man. When those missiles get shot off from China, Iran, Russia, so on and so forth, man, the UK, America's done for, man. Anyone that's left on the shores of America on that day, you know, especially the 2/3 and the other nations, they're going to be the nuclear soot. They're going to be made part of the earth, man. You know, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Only the elect are going to be beamed up from that's the set perils that's coming, man. Beamed up in them ships. This is his last precept. I'm going to read and close out Ezekiel 28 and 18. It says, thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquity. Because this whole monetary system is straight out wickedness, man. It's a fraudulent system, man. Set up by the wicked elite to defraud the people, to rob the fatherless and the poor, you know, to keep them in debt, you know. It says, thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquity. It says, by the iniquity of thy traffic, which that word traffic goes into their merchandise, man. Talking about this whole banking system, you know, and how they run things. It says, by the iniquity of their traffic, therefore I will bring forth a fire from the midst of thee, and it shall devour thee. It says, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. So once again, the judgment for these devils setting up this fraudulent system is what? They're going to end up going into war with all these other superpower nations, because there's going to be a battle for you know, who's going to be on top, basically, with all these Western nations and some from over there in the Middle East. It's going to be a power struggle, and America's going to end up losing at the end of the day. And they're going to be brought into a nuclear war by way of Israel, so the least of them shall bring them out. And they're going to be put into a ditch that they can't dig out of, man. Which is going to end up with them getting hit with nuclear missiles, as well as the land of Israel getting destroyed by nuclear fire, man. Because of them small hats that are in the land, defiling the Lord's land. That land needs to be cleansed before the true inhabitants, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, go back into the land by way of Yahweh Shai when he returns. So this whole earth is going to get cleansed without nuclear fire, man. That's why the earth's going to roll to and fro like a drunkard. So the punishment for the iniquity of thy traffic is what? Nuclear fire, man. That's what's coming. It says, and it shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth, and in the sight of all them that behold thee. So everyone's witnessing the decline of this American society. That's why everyone, you know, these financial forecasters are talking about a decline in America. You know, the economy's crashing and stuff like that. Because America's through, man. It's had its pinnacle in society. Now it's reaching it. Now it's seeing its decline, steady decline, by way of Yahweh Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, man, Abad Babal, the water, man. Because you know we're witnessing the decline of this Edomite society, man. The fall of Esau, Edom, and that's a blessing in itself. The Lord said, "Blessed is he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy," man. This is in verse 19, and it says, all they that know thee among the people, yeah, allies and enemies, shall be astonished at thee. It says, thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. So once those nuclear missiles get shot off, you know, Esau knows he's finished. His kingdom's done. That's going to be the end of Esau's kingdom. Just like you had in times past all these other ancient kingdoms, whether it was by surgical strike or whatever, like the Babylonians. That was the end of their society. That was the end of their kingdom. The end of this society is going to be by way of nuclear fire, man. That's what the Lord decreed, and that's what's going to happen. And everyone's going to witness it, man. You know, the revolution will be televised. The nuclear revolution, the nuclear missile revolution will be televised, man. It says, all they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee, and says, thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. So this place is through, it's finished. And it starts from their foundation, man. Their fraudulent money system, which is backed by fraud. You know, it's backed by usury and all that. Tax and all the VAT and all this madness, man. Straight up debt. Debt-bearing notes that these people put their trust in, man, and faith in. Now they're putting their trust in CBDCs, which is even more or less of intrinsic value, because that's as numbers on the damn computer screen that people putting all their hope and trust in and investments in, man. So this place is totally free, man. You know, there's nothing left but fire for this place, man. So this is beautiful times, man. So, you know, I'm going to close out anyway. Give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Hopefully, brothers is edified. Until next time, I say Shalom, man.